fresh meat.
Hi folks, Greg here, and welcome to my horror party.
Dammy, open the window!
Never! I knew it! I am not! So where are you? The flying nun?
We're kicking off the new year by breaking with tradition. That is, we're gonna party with a more mainstream horror selection, 1987's The Lost Boys.
Get yourself a good sharp steak. Drive it right through his heart.
I can't do that. He's my brother.
Okay, we'll come over and do it for you.
No!
But there's a method to my madness here. One of my qualifications for a good party movie is its repeatability, and this one definitely fills that bill. So if you're one of the legions of fans who know every frame of this movie by heart, then this is the episode for you.
You're eating maggots, how do they taste?
I'm also going to show you how to make a bloody good cocktail that's a perfect match for a fun vampire flick. But first, let's break it down. I want to thank you guys for coming to my horror party, and ask that if you enjoy our shows, please subscribe to our channel right now, like this video, and click on the bell so you can be notified each time a new video goes up. And now, back to the show. As I've said before, any fun horror movie is a good candidate for a party, especially if it stands up to repeat viewings and it's packed with quotable lines and iconic scenes, you know. The Lost Boys has aged very well since it hit theaters, and its fan base spans at least 2 generations, maybe 3. As a rule, vampire movies tend to take themselves very seriously, unless they're straight-up parodies. But The Lost Boys has a rowdy attitude as well as some legit scares. The humor doesn't come from the monsters themselves, but the way its characters react to the horror.
You're a vampire, Michael. My own brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire. Oh, you wait till Mom finds out, buddy.
If you're watching this, there's a good chance you've seen this movie at least once, but I'm still giving you a heads up. Pretty much all the spoilers are coming. Besides, you can't call yourself a horror fan without having seen this one at least once. With that said, let's dig into some background. This is the part where I cram the entire history of the film into exactly 2 minutes so we can get to the game rules as quickly as possible. As always, I'll clock myself on this stopwatch right here. So, 2 minutes, starting now. As its title suggests, The Lost Boys was inspired by characters in Peter Pan, and that's how screenwriters Janice Fisher and James Jeremias pitched its potential buyers. The script began to circulate around Hollywood, where there were at least 3 different Peter Pan-themed scripts in development. When Warner Brothers acquired the property, they wanted to spin the story as a more family-friendly film, basically a vampire equivalent of The Goonies. The studio even approached Goonies director Richard Donner, but he had other commitments, although he did stay on as producer. And eventually Warner turned to writer-director Joel Schumacher. At first, he wasn't into it, but as he thought more about the script, he began to imagine a more grown-up take on the material, with older characters and a sexier rock and roll vibe. He hired screenwriter Jeffrey Boehm to make these changes and to bring more comic elements into the story. He also steered clear of traditional gothic vampire themes, envisioning the Lost Boys as more of a biker gang. The story was originally set in the California seaside town of Santa Cruz, where the majority of the exterior scenes were shot. But the Santa Cruz Tourism Board wasn't happy because they were still trying to get past their reputation as the murder capital of the world, thanks to the trail of bodies left by 3 separate serial killers in the 1970s. So they ended up changing the name to Santa Carla. The next problem came from the suits at Warner, who were afraid that a horror movie infused with comedy and no big-name stars would be box office poison. Schumacher stuck to his guns, but the studio lost confidence and cut the budget from $20 million to just $8.5 million. The joke ended up being on them because The Lost Boys was a huge success, grossing over $32 million in the US alone. A big-budget sequel seemed inevitable, but amazingly all attempts to get one off the ground failed. Even a planned prequel penned by Eric Red, who also wrote another 1987 vampire classic, Near Dark, failed to take off. Sadly, in the years since, we've lost so many of the original cast and crew, including Schumacher. So it looks like the Lost Boys canon is mostly limited to this film, 2 forgettable direct-to-video sequels, and 2 separate comic book series, which are actually pretty good.
The Lost Boys.
Nein, das Kaffee ist nicht übel. Für einen Marsbewohner.
Oder ein Vampir.
The Lost Boys.
Now that we got that out of the way, let's get to the game, starting with your substance of choice.
By substances, I mean anything you can consume in a fixed dose. And of course, it should always have a party vibe, which means everything from beer, wine, hard liquor, mixed drinks, cannabis, caffeine, or even shots of hot sauce if your digestive tract can handle it. It's fine to challenge yourself and your friends because, it is a game, that's what it's all about. But be sure to exercise caution, know your limitations, and follow your local laws because we want you to have fun and not end up in the hospital or jail. It's just a game after all.
Once you've chosen what you'll be dosing with, it's time for the rules of the game.
Every time you hear the word vampire, take 1 dose.
Notice anything unusual about Santa Carla yet?
No, it's a pretty cool place. If you're a Martian.
Or a vampire.
For every reference to the classic rock group The Doors, from this poster of Jim Morrison to Echo and the Bunnymen's cover of People Are Strange, take 1 dose. Of course, when you see everyone's favorite oily saxophone guy, take 1 dose. I was gonna say take a dose every time a character says the name Michael, but they say it like 120 plus times, so I don't think you really want to get your blood replaced after this is over.
They're only noodles, Michael.
Whenever you see Nanook the dog, oh, look at that cute puppy, take 1 dose. When Michael drinks the ceremonial blood to join the vampire gang, take a dose along with him. When someone mentions or shows you garlic,
You better get yourself a garlic t-shirt, buddy.
take a dose. For every vampire destroyed, take 1 dose, except for the death of David, oh, look at the cute Kiefer Sutherland, and Max, the master vampire. I told you there would be spoilers. And for each of those, you need to take 2 doses. That should be more than enough. In fact, it's probably too much, but feel free to expand or modify the rules however you like. I'm just here to get you started.
Speaking of getting started, here's a little cocktail invented by a mixologist friend of mine. He calls it the Cranpire, and it's pretty damn good and appropriate.
This one is super easy. It's only got 2 ingredients, okay? We start with vampire vodka, which is a real thing. You can always use regular vodka and add a splash of grenadine to it. Then find your favorite sparkling cranberry drink. This one is from Trader Joe's, and it may be a seasonal thing, but just about any carbonated cranberry soda will do. Proportions are pretty much 1-to-1. Start with the vodka. Then top it with the soda. Stir just a little bit. And there you have it, a Cranpire.
Okay, now that you've got the rules and the proper intoxicants on hand, it's time to start the movie.
I'll be playing right along with you, and be sure to come back after the film for some aftercare and my final thoughts.
But for now, it's lights down, bottoms up, roll film.
Let's all go to the...
How you doing? Since you're still here, I assumed you survived, or maybe you haven't started yet. Come on, keep up, people.
If loving The Lost Boys is wrong, then I don't want to be right. This movie has everything a horror party needs. Lots of quotable lines, memorable moments, and plenty of opportunities to laugh and scream, sometimes all at once.
Death by stereo.
You can understand why this movie ran in theaters for over 2 years because people just couldn't get enough of it. Even the folks at the Santa Cruz Tourism Board came around, and they've been holding free screenings on the boardwalk almost every year, although I think COVID might have put the brakes on that plan. Damn viruses ruin everything.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
I hope you had as much fun as I did, and I'm definitely looking forward to our next horror party.
And you can help out too by adding your movie suggestions or game ideas in the comments, and maybe we'll go with your pick for our next episode. Cheers!